Did you know that less than 20 minutes away from the San Francisco airport is a trail that looks like this? Over the next 2 days, I'm on a mission to explore the San Francisco Peninsula.
So sick. Not bad.
To put together the most perfect itinerary of fun rides and all the other spots you should check out in between. There are so many videos that just show awesome mountain biking POV shots. But the real point of view that I want is what else the area has to offer.
And to end the day at a place like this, wow.
The napkins inside Bucks must have some magic in them.
Looks like it's about to fall on us.
If you're ever gonna plan a visit to a spot like this, it helps to have a detailed plan of places to grab coffee and food before and after the rides. This is 2 days on the San Francisco Peninsula. We're starting in the city of Pacifica, where I lived about 12 years ago. I'm curious to see what's changed and what remains the same after all these years, both with the riding and with my own riding skills. Our first day kicked off at Soul Grind Coffee, right down on Lindemar Beach, the perfect place to meet up with other riders and grab a pre-ride breakfast.
The number one best thing about this place is that it's owned by a mountain biker. The number two best thing about this place is that the trails are right there.
Not only do they have incredible food, but they roast the coffee right there on site. The final ingredient we needed for today was a local rider to help us find the most fun trails. Paul Jackson was waiting for us at Soul Grind to get the day started. This trail system is the most well-known in the area and has a variety of different options. Trails like Mile, Brink, and Boy Scout are the most frequently featured in other bike videos, and the climb up to the top is relatively easy. Most of this climb is on semi-paved trail, so you can cruise up to the top with relative ease. Once you get to the top, there are plenty of options to explore. From here, you can look back toward Pacifica or look south toward the coast of the San Francisco Peninsula, Montera, Moss Beach, and Half Moon Bay.
How epic is this trail? And isn't it wild to think that the San Francisco airport is only 20 minutes that way? This is the closest good mountain bike trail to the San Francisco airport, and well worth the mission.
We decided to drop in on one of the southern trails to get a closer look at the California coastline. This trail goes over a tunnel, which was called Devil's Slide before the tunnel was built, as the road was frequently filled with falling rocks from the side of the mountain. The thing I like most about this trail is that almost anyone can ride them regardless of ability level. But if you want to challenge yourself, you can ride it faster to make the trail even more fun. We explored the Brink Trail until we got to this point where we had an epic lookout at the ocean.
What do you think, dude? So sick. Not bad.
In the far distance and on a clear day, you can actually see the Farallon Islands, which is the second largest breeding ground for great white sharks on the planet. While we could have kept riding this trail to get more of the same flow, we decided to ride back up to the top to hit some of the more advanced trails.
Yep.
Riding north from the top toward Pacifica will take you down a much more difficult trail called Mile. This one is not for the faint of heart, and even I had to stop and readjust my suspension on the way down.
Woo.
It's a highly technical descent that eventually leads you into a chute with some fun hits toward the bottom. This is exactly why we invited Paul on today's mission. He can show you exactly how it's done.
That was sick.
Down?
Yeah.
The last section worth checking out is the pride of the locals and home to an annual step-up jump jam. If you've seen any videos from Pacifica, this is probably the spot that was featured. But if jumps aren't your thing, you can still ride down this trail. Nothing is mandatory. Possibly the best thing about today's ride is that we're filming this in mid-November. So while we didn't have a big filming window today, we did have absolutely incredible weather.
Oh, so sick. So good.
The downside to riding and filming in November is that you don't have the biggest window of sunlight. So we had to work fast to shoot everything, and that meant missing our planned lunch at Humble Sea Brewing, another great recommendation from the locals. However, there was zero chance we were going to skip out on our dinner plan. If you type best Taco Bell in the world into any search engine, this is what comes up, and for good reason. The Taco Bell Cantina on Lindemar Beach in Pacifica is everything you hope it's going to be. What could be better than enjoying a Crunchwrap Supreme and a Baja Blast along with an epic sunset? I can honestly say it's been over a decade since I've been to a Taco Bell, but if you're going to go, this is probably the one.
The SF Peninsula has been absolutely incredible. Day one here was all time. The views were epic, the trails were legit. Everybody we got to ride with and hang out with was just incredible. And to end the day at a place like this, I don't usually eat Taco Bell, but wow, this is just too cool to skip. The best part about this trip is that we're staying in Half Moon Bay right here on the marina in this spot called the Oceano Hotel. Even better is that it's right off the highway, and right next to it is this coffee shop called Mezzaluna, which is where we're gonna go to get the day started.
We cruised to the bay side of the San Francisco Peninsula to another trail system called Waterdog Lake. On the way here, I definitely checked the map more than a few times because I didn't believe there was going to be an expansive trail system tucked into this suburb. But sure enough, there's a parking lot and multiple trails to choose from. You've got plenty of options for climbs and descents here. Woo. It was honestly surprising how well they fit all these trails into an area like this. I think this might technically be the closest mountain bike trail to SFO, but Pacifica had the better views. My only regret is that I didn't have enough time to explore all that this zone has to offer.
That's like the perfect trail to take just about anyone on. You know, these trails are kind of funny because they're proper mountain bike trails. They're tucked in the suburbs like this, but you could take just about anybody on a trail like this and make them feel like they're really mountain biking. It's not so gnarly that you're gonna scare anybody, but it's fun enough that you can get a really, really good ride in a place like this that's super accessible for just about anybody.
With one set of trails under our belt for the day, we went to check out a legendary lunch spot called Buck's. This place has all sorts of Silicon Valley lore. There's something magic about this place, and you can feel it when you walk in the door. We met local rider John Paradine here for a quick bite.
The myth here is that this is where a lot of major VC deals have been done in Silicon Valley. The big one is that one of the early prototypes of an iPhone was left here by mistake and picked up by somebody else, and the engineer had to scramble back and try and retrace his steps and find it. But
was it like the lost and found or what?
I think that someone actually picked it up and contacted Apple and was like, I think this is yours.
With billion-dollar deals going down here, game-changing ideas sketched onto the napkins here, and plenty more.
Thank you. So I've decided that the napkins inside Buck's must have some magic in them because, you know, they've done all kinds of like multi-billion-dollar deals and they've sketched prototypes for all kinds of wild stuff. So I got a couple napkins for the road. I don't have any good ideas for them yet, but you know, when the idea comes through, I'll be prepared.
John led us to the Corte de Madera trail system. Aside from the trails here, there's a ton to check out, like this tree that's over 1,800 years old, the Methuselah tree.
You can't even hug this tree, it's so big. So this is sort of like the start of the ride. This is the starting point. This is the Methuselah tree. It's almost 1,900 years old.
Yeah, it's old.
Look at this thing. A massive tree.
Yeah.
This zone is commonly referred to as Skeggs, and if you search for any of the best trails in the Bay Area, this is usually on everyone's list of top trails to hit. We mostly rode the Manzanita Trail, but I'm gonna have to come back to ride Giant Salamander and Blue Blossom. Aside from the trails here, there's a ton to check out. John also took us to the Resolution crash site.
Whoa.
And the Tafoni Rock Formation, a giant skull-shaped chunk of sandstone that randomly appears in the middle of the forest.
Yeah, it's pretty wild that just in the middle of the redwoods, you just come across this giant sandstone rock that looks like it's about to fall on us.
After that, the next rock formation John had to show me was something that he calls the Wall, a giant rock section that people try to ride up. After gathering my focus, I pedaled at it and somehow managed to make it all the way up to the top. First try.
Thank goodness that only took one try. I don't think I have a second one in me.
A trip to this area wouldn't be complete without a visit to Alice's restaurant.
If you show up here on a weekend, you're gonna see all kinds of crazy cars. A lot of people come driving through here and ripping through and then stopping here for coffee or whatever else. So we're gonna go inside and check it out.
It's the perfect post-ride spot for a quick bite. And what an adventure today was. We rode 2 very different trail systems and got to experience a lot of local culture in between. The thing that really stood out to me about the San Francisco Peninsula is just how much open and protected space there is, given the proximity to the giant cities and the entire Silicon Valley. Within moments, you can go from the big city to being fully immersed in nature, and I think that's what really makes this area special. Trails are easy to get to, and riders of all skill levels can have a great time out here. The wildest part about this trip is that while we rode a variety of different terrain and trails, we stayed within roughly 20 miles of the airport the entire time. And if you think this is all the area has to offer, think again. We intentionally rode the most common trails and left the hidden gems, well, hidden.